Hello, this is a demo of a Herbst Trucker version 1093. We're in the main menu right now, and what we can see is we can have the options here of routing sheet, which is always defaulted to. You have history, which shows you a list of all your delivery dockets that you've already done, and then you can create a new checklist where you can do your vehicle checklist and things like that. And below that you actually have the ability to see previously done checklists for, let's say, if you're stopped by the drivers on the road, and then below this you have settings for printers. Now this is an Android device, this works on Androids, and if I go to routing sheet, here I have a list of all the delivery dockets that have been allocated to this driver. They could potentially have receipt dockets as well, if that option allows it. There's actually a lot of options within this system that allows you or doesn't allow you to do things. I'm going to show you a more advanced mechanism, but potentially just remember that you can actually take a lot of this stuff off because it might not be seen as necessary. But if I go to an individual delivery docket, what I have is I can see the address, the name of the customer, I can ring their phone, and also I have the ability to use Google Maps to bring me there. I can see what the products they've ordered and the quantities. Here at the bottom I have a little button that allows me to estimate and organize things on my routing sheet, and also I have another button here that allows me to send a text message to the customer to say I'll be there in 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 60 minutes or whatever. When I actually arrive at the customer, I press the start button. Again, this is an option. You might press another time mechanism that says I'm starting to unload. And down below I have another option that allows me to add a comment. And then I can also take a photograph. The customer isn't there for proof of delivery. Here's actually a previously signed delivery docket. It was done on a printer like that. I say okay, got it. And then I go next. Oh, I got everything there. Start unloading. I go next. Again, this is option. So here I have an option for additional items. Kind of convenient if you're counting pallets. Things like this, or adding water, changing ingredients. Maybe it was cold conditions or something like that, or you had to leave it outside. Something that you really want to emphasize. It's an option there that you can, for when you're making adjustments to your original delivery docket, you can get a second signature specifically to acknowledge the adjustments. I go next. This is here returned items now. So once again, most used for things like pallets, where you're counting. There's a trolley, an EU pallet, European pallet. Go next. Now the final page, what it does is it shows you the arrival time, the departure time, the additional items, the actual items, the quantities, the returned items, any comments, and then it asks the driver to get a signature from the person. And I go finish, and then I have the option to print. Now of course the whole point is that you're wanting to avoid print. You have access to the delivery docket and everything back in the system. You can PDF it, you can email it, you could potentially have it in the web portal, linked to the sales invoice. So really you're trying to avoid using the old print, but sometimes there's no getting around it. And then you can print. And you can hear printing away. And just to show you how and then automatically removes from the routing sheet once you've got the delivery done. But you can reprint it by looking in history. You can see it here in history. But I'm going to go to my checklists. I can create a new checklist, but actually here what I have is I have a draft, and you can see this is kind of an example of a proper checklist. Let's see what I have to do to finish it off, because it wouldn't let me finish it unless I've actually put in all the details. Finish. Oh yes, so now it's finished. And once again, if I'm stopped on the side of the road by the police, I can show them the dates and the details of all the checklists that I have done. But the good thing about this is that this checklist goes back to the system, and it also earmarks and schedules things that should be done if problems have been mentioned within the checklist. So it's not just a form, it's more like it can actually create an action back in the HQ. And I think that's mainly